Inside Out is one of the most anticipated animated films of recent times. Did you know that some emotions that were initially in the second movie were completely cut from the final version? Other emotions. Everyone knows that the original Inside Out was supposed to have nearly 20 different emotions inside Riley's head, but that idea was scrapped. What almost no one knows is that the same thing happened in the second film. Of course, it wouldn't be as many emotions, but at least 4 other characters were cut from the project for various reasons. And we even know who they were: shame, jealousy, Schadenfreude, and guilt. If you don't know, Schadenfreude was also going to be in the first film and would represent the pleasure we all feel when we laugh at someone else's misfortune. According to the director of Inside Out 2, the reason for the removal of these 4 characters was that they would make the film too sad, taking away much of the fun they want to convey to the audience, especially concerning guilt and shame, as we'll explain shortly. This is just the first of the 10 things nobody knew about Inside Out 2 that we're discussing now. The emotion of shame. The main emotion that was removed from Inside Out 2 was undoubtedly shame. She would have been one of the new main emotions and would share the role of arch-villain with anxiety in the film, scheming to get rid of the old emotions, much like anxiety did. The team said that it would be difficult to keep the film's story happy, especially with shame in the script, because it would be hard for viewers to feel that shame was something really natural and necessary, much like anxiety, which ultimately is within all of us. Pixar's intention is for everyone who watches the new film to want to see it again. And with shame in the cast of emotions, they concluded that this would not happen, so the new emotion was summarily deleted from the film. Recreation of joy. When Inside Out was released, Disney had no intention of making a sequel. The director at the time said he had nothing in mind to continue Riley's story. But as some original films didn't make much money for the company, Pixar decided it was time to revive old successes with sequels, hence the announcement of Inside Out 2 and also Zootopia 2. The fact is that when they decided to work again on Riley's story and her emotions, the technology that was used to create the emotions especially no longer existed. It was considered totally obsolete, so Pixar got rid of the programs. Because of this, each of the characters needed to be recreated entirely from absolute zero. Just to redo Joy, with all those particles that make up the character and the details of the hair, eyes, and dress, took more than a year. New animation, shading, and lighting tools had to be created, which is why the film is taking much longer than Disney thought it would to be ready. You can be sure it's a very hard job to make this incredible film. Talking about Inside Out always makes me happy. If you feel the same, comment down below, #joy, to let us know who else feels this way. Emotional fidelity. While the animation team worked tirelessly to recreate all the characters of Inside Out from scratch, as well as Riley's mind control panel, the story creation team also had to work hard. They knew what Riley's emotions were like in the first film, but now Riley will be older and the emotions will need to change along with the girl. More than that, the new emotions, anxiety, envy, ennui, and embarrassment will have to be as true to reality as possible. For this, Pixar created an exclusive project where 9 teenagers formed a group to help make Riley's emotions and behaviors 100% true, compared to a person of the same age as our protagonist. The intention was to follow the daily lives of these 13-year-olds and see how they behaved and reacted, especially in decision-making and stressful situations, which is exactly what Riley will go through in the upcoming film. New Inside Out series. If there's one thing Disney does well, besides animated films, it's derivative series from animated movies. This happened with Cars, with the release of Cars on the Road, and with Zootopia, with the release of Zootopia Plus, with some episodes about the backstory of the original film. Disney's idea would be to create a series of unique episodes derived from some Inside Out characters, much like what was done with Zootopia Plus. And, as we noticed in the first film, and will surely be shown in the second film as well, all people, and also animals, have their own emotions and control centers. So, several of these episodes could take place involving these characters and their respective emotions, which would be cool, because it would give us a better understanding of how anger became the leader in Riley's dad's mind, and sadness the leader in her mom's mind. Voice actors. If there's one thing that truly brings an animated movie to life, it's definitely the voice acting. After all, without it, the characters would feel incomplete. And, as we can say for sure that this was one of the strong points of Inside Out, where the original voice work was done by a stellar team, including comedian Amy Poehler, who voiced Joy and was a major highlight of the film. Other, now well-known Hollywood figures, who weren't as famous back then, participated in the movie's voice work, such as Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling, who voiced fear and disgust. What almost no one knows, however, is that both voice actors flatly refused to return for the second animated film, even after a formal invitation from Pixar. The reason? Money! Each of the voice actors for the new emotions was offered $100,000 for the job. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I would have accepted in their place too. But after they found out that Amy, the voice of Joy, was going to receive $5 million for her role, they simply told Pixar to look for other people, and that's what the company did. And so the film had changes in these two characters' original voices. Stranger Things. Speaking of voice acting, a major highlight was definitely the casting of Maya Hawke to voice the villain of the film, Anxiety. The actress became globally famous after her significant role as Robin in the latest season of Netflix's Stranger Things. The choice was celebrated by many fans of the series, myself included. Fun fact about her acting talent runs in the family, as she is the daughter of actor Ethan Hawke, who has starred in many award-winning films throughout his career, and actress Uma Thurman, also a major Hollywood star. It seems the family really has a strong connection with success. And if you want to stay up to date with all the news on cartoons and animated films, just subscribe here to our channel. The most seasoned voice actor. Speaking of voice acting, Inside Out is about to set a record that almost no one knows yet, because the oldest voice actor in Pixar's history will be part of the film. And we're talking about the oldest not in terms of time working for the Disney company, but in terms of age. After it was announced that nostalgia will be one of the emotions featured in Inside Out 2, the voice actor was also revealed. Veteran actress June Squibb, at 94 years old, was chosen to voice the character, perfectly fitting the role of the ancient guardian of the memories Riley cherishes the most. This was definitely a brilliant idea. Former director. Many people have no idea, but the main guy responsible for bringing Inside Out to the world, Pete Docter, can no longer direct any Disney Pixar films. That's because he is now the chief of production and creation of the company's films. So, although he participates in the selection process and even gives his 2 cents on some things, Pete couldn't, even if he wanted to, direct the sequel to his most famous film. Besides Inside Out, Pete was responsible for other incredible films like Monsters, Inc., Up, Wall-E, and Soul, the latter being his last film as director before taking up his new role at Pixar. So, with a heavy heart but happy for sure about his salary raise, Pete Docter handed over the reins of the film to someone else. So we can say that Inside Out 2 will be under new direction. As mentioned, Pete Docter will not continue as director of the next film that will continue to tell us about the life of our beloved Riley. But what few people know is that the next person who will take charge has never directed a film in their life. We're talking about Kelsey Mann. Though he has never directed a feature film, few people have as much experience in animations as Kelsey. The Pixar employee has had significant roles in major company productions like being the story lead for The Good Dinosaur and the general supervisor for Monsters University and Onward. Our hope is definitely that the film will be incredibly good, which would make sense with the direction after all. Soon we'll know all about this, as soon as I check out the film personally, because this is going to be one of the coolest movies of the entire year of 2024, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. We're leaving 2 videos now that we're sure you'll really enjoy. Just choose one and click. See you in the next video. Cheers!